fund that inhabits in hunting grounds of Bosnia and Herzegovina, all with the aim of preserving biodiversity and sustainable wildlife management in our hunting grounds. Role and importance of the wild animals in the nursery, we consider sustainable and environmentally correct methods aimed at reducing the impact of natural resource, with as the little extraction of the wild animals from the parent fund as possible. In addition to these projects, we also run projects for the reintroduction of wildlife that inhabits the area of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and due to the war, its number was significantly reduced or almost disappeared from certain species. In this direction, we lead the following projects. Cage breeding of rabbits with the aim of releasing them in hunting grounds. The second is fallow deer farm has been established, parent herd, and we released 10 into the wild each year. The third one is the project of reintroduction of chamois in the Una Canyon, is the northwest part of the Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the project is the implementation phase. We provided funds for the intake of 5 chamois and the 1 savage. The fourth project is the project of building a black wild animals farm and financially closed construction of land acquisition, making access road, facilities, and the fences around the farm. Planned capacity 50 units with the aim of releasing of 100 units per year level. Also, information is the Alliance of Hunting Organization doesn't have any support from the state level for any project. All these projects doing by themselves. So thank you for this short presentation. As I already say, I am here a lot of years with my dear colleagues. I'm always glad to be here with you. It doesn't matter where. Maybe this is hotel with 5-star, maybe in the forests, but we are always with the open hearts as the brothers. Shortly, always I want to say to the colleagues, maybe to know little bit something about Bosnia. Now in Bosnia, it's, maybe you heard, political, it's very, very hard situation. It's like almost before 25 years ago or 30 years ago. It's similar situation, like the war will start very soon. That's the main reason to Turkey to be part of our alliance in that position. Inshallah. Bosnia and Herzegovina, I don't know, do you know what's the name of Bosnia? What's the name of Herzegovina? There are not different countries. The origin name, there is few theses of the origin of the name of Bosnia. Bosnia, as you know, is the river, start from Sarajevo and go to Sava River, is the name of river. But word, we are in Slavonic country, but the word Bosnia, it's not Slavonic word. It starts from one tribe, the origin name Posena, and in the time period changed to Bosnia. And Herzegovina is the title of the one family ruler in the south part of Bosnia. South part of Bosnia, that's not territory or geographical, just they give as the support of that rural family. the name of Herzegovina, or like you say, Hersek. It was the origin name, Hersek, like in Turkish language. I will now introduce very shortly my presentation. Presentation is about virgin forests in Bosnia and Herzegovina. As you know, Ottomans was a lot of years in Bosnia and Herzegovina, almost about 500 years, and the forests have similar like in Turkey organization. But when they leave, come Austro-Hungarian monarchy and start to build construction, a railway in the forests, and the other infrastructures work. From that period, a lot of area in Bosnia and Herzegovina was the forest ecosystems origin as the virgin forests, because people doesn't have any influence on that forests. Through the period, I don't know, do you know information? One professor of history in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Professor Enver Imamović, say the Bosnia and Herzegovina is territory where in the last 1,000 years, 700 years, it's wars. So let's say short, in the 10 years, we have 7 years wars. That's a lot of number of wars and wars years in the Bosnian Herzegovina. As you know, as you see on this map of Dinaric Alps from the north region, from the Kočevski Rog in Slovenia to the south part in the north, Albania, Bosnia, Herzegovina have virgin forest in that area, but not to Albania, just to mountain Durmitor on the southwest part of Montenegro. The forest ecosystem of the Dinaric Alps are characterized by the forest elements of typical virgin forests. Virgin forests represents extraordinary natural objects for the various scientific research and forest ecosystems. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have registered about 11 virgin forests. We are not a big country like Turkey. We are very small, with small population. On the left side, you can see the real map of forest vegetation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. And you can see in the middle, in the central region, the green color is when the Dinaric Alps come through. There is position, as you see on the right side of the map, position of the all 11 virgin forest locality in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The most famous and the largest and diverse of virgin forests in Bosnia and Herzegovina are virgin forests Peručica. Maybe you heard, maybe one of you visit. And now that virgin forest is on the National Park Sutjeska, under the National Park Sutjeska, and it's about 1,500 hectares total area of that virgin forest. And the position is in the southeast part of Bosnia and Herzegovina, close to border with Montenegro. I will start with the first virgin forest near Sarajevo. Maybe a lot of you visit Sarajevo. You probably must know there is on 30 kilometers from Sarajevo, there is small virgin forest. It's about 45 hectares, and mostly all virgin forests in Bosnia and Herzegovina are registered and they are there for the scientific research, except the biggest, which are in the national park. Sutjeska, as I mentioned before, is the virgin forest Peručica, but I will tell you later about virgin forest Peručica. The small Ravna Vala virgin forest on the mountain Bjelašnica, it's very close to Sarajevo, have very good diversity. The forests are a part of the community Abieti Fagetum Dinaricum. I will tell this on the Latin name because a lot of you are foresters and you can follow the phytocenology of this forest. The predominant species are beech and silver fir, but also there is spruce, sycamore, maple, and other species. Usually in Bosnia and Herzegovina are the forests of fir with the beech and the spruce. That are the main common tree species in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The full stock amount in this virgin forest near Sarajevo is 667 meter cubic per hectare. There is a lot of vascular plants can be found in this virgin forest, and the number of varies in the different development stage. On the surface of 100.100 meters, you can find 95 species of vascular plants and who was identified with our scientific research of our dear professors from the Faculty of Forestry. The study of non-vascular plants in this area registered 35 lichen species and 29 species of mosses. This is a little bit just to see the situations in this virgin forests. I don't want to tell you because probably you know what is definition of virgin forest. There is forest without influence of man and any kind other influence. The other virgin forest is also near to Sarajevo, but to north, if you drive to Zenica, who know, maybe about 40 kilometers from Sarajevo, also maybe 1.5 hour driving, also not big, about 32.5 hectares. The name is Trstionica, is near the city of Kakanj. Also the virgin forest belongs to the Piceo Abieti Fagetum community. Predominant species again silver fir and beech, but spruce, sycamore, maple, and other species is also typical, but it's not percent. It's a small percent of them. There is identified about 53 fungi species in this virgin forest, and the total amount is about 671 meter cubic per hectare. This is few pictures just to see the situation in the virgin forest. Trstionica. I will do a little bit faster. This is the in central Bosnia Jan virgin forest. It's bigger than the others. It's about is the nature reserve Jan, nature reserve registered as a nature reserve Jan virgin forest, and is protected in order to preserve the unit point and preserved and the unique forest ecosystem. The mostly every virgin forest are the similar the temperature, and that's data I don't have time to present to you now, but also this virgin forest belongs to the Pizza Abiete Fagetum community, and about 95% of the reserve surface is taken by the community of beech and silver fir. The next one is the virgin forest loam, is the northwest part of Bosnia, which name is Krajina. This virgin forest is on the border of the collision of continental and the marine air masses. The average volume of total wood mass in the reserve territory is 729 meter cubic per hectare. Neutrophilic forests of beech, silver fir, and spruce of Illyric region makes up about 76% of the reserve's area. Subalpine beech forest, Aceri fagetum subalpinum, takes up about 20% of reserves area. So far, 463 different plants, lichen, moss, and fungi species have been identified. More precisely, 256 of species are various vascular plants, 96 are the mosses, 37 are lichens, and 74 are fungi species. We're going to see a little bit pictures. Maybe too fast. This virgin forests we present on the one photo monography which we prepared with our Fund for Environment of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and photomonography of the virgin forest we work to finish about 3 years ago, to visit all location, collect data, and prepare the photography for the photomonography. The lot of number of colleagues have that photomonography. Now I introduce you the biggest and maybe most famous the virgin forest in Europe, Peručica, in the National Park of Sutjeska, as I said, on the southeast part of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and close to the border with Montenegro. The initiative for this national park starts after First World War, when the forest inventory and the foresters come to this forest area, and when they see the trees, the big trees, start the initiative to this area protect as a national park. In the next period and after World War II, this area was protected as a national park of Sutjeska, which is still now. You can visit, but you cannot visit without guide. You must announce when you come there, and you will get guide to go with you through the virgin forest of Peručica. The total area of this forest, virgin forest, is about 1,500 hectares. There is finished a lot of scientific work. There is beautiful place, and this reserve is located in the river Drina, upper basin, or more precisely in the basin of its tributary Sutjeska River on the border of Bosnia and Montenegro, as I said before. The highest point in this virgin forest is about 2,400 meters above the sea. And in this area have a lot of beautiful places, like his waterfall named Skakavac, and a lot of and various number of different herbaceous plants, and many of which are endemic. Is also typical fir and beech forest ecosystem with spruce. Now you can see a few pictures which we made during our work in this area. Untouched, beautiful area. There is 2 virgin forests on the mountain Grmeć, is on northwest part of Bosnia. It's one is Bobija virgin forest. It's a not big area. The other, you can see few pictures from this area. The other on the same mountain is Grmeć mountain, is the Crni Vrh virgin forest. Origin on Bosnian language, Crni Vrh means the black top. The black top. Also, this is the 2 of this area is on the Grmeć mountains. I will go with few pictures to see a lot of diversity of plants, of the tree species, and the other biodiversity. The northwest point of Bosnia is the virgin forest of Plješivica. It's on the border with Croatia. Under this virgin forest in the mountain is the military airport made by Yugoslav army long time ago. It's very interesting. You can find on the internet. This area also is not big area, but in the last 2 years, colleagues from Croatia made a line through this, cut the part of this virgin forest, because this area is the area where the migrants going to the Europe, migrants from the east. The last 2 is the small one is the Mach and Do virgin forest in the Tuzla canton. You can find this, and also is the virgin reserve Maločića dolina near Sanski most. I don't want, because I will have a lot of information for you, but this is the shortest for me. One virgin forest now, it's in the phase to registration, is the Golija, is the in central part of Bosnia, close also to border to Croatia. Now Faculty of Forestry made work there to finish all scientific works and papers with the state authority to finish this and to register this Golija virgin forest as the virgin forest. Few pictures. This area is the typical karst area with influence of Mediterranean climate. Also in this virgin forest, it's a part of minefield. As you know, Bosnia and Herzegovina during the war have about 10% of forests and forest lands are under the minefield. That's also a very big problem, especially for us foresters. I hope so in the next period it will be cleaned. Thank you for your attention, and sorry, maybe it was a little bit longer. than the others. Thank you and Allah emanet.
Kıymetli dostumuz Azer Bey'e teşekkür ediyorum.
Mr. Azer, distinguished friend, thank you so much for your presentation. Before moving on to the next topic, our colleague just mentioned a great thing, and maybe we didn't recognize it quite well. He said that Bosnia-Herzegovina is experiencing a tense situation 30 years ago. Do you remember the Srebrenica disaster and massacre? Unfortunately, a situation similar to that one, they are experiencing that, that tension. I hope they will not, inshallah, experience such a massacre anymore. And he is expecting the support of see the sustainability of the Turkish alliance. Both Mr. Sabri Kızılkaya, Secretary General of the Turkish Person Trade Union, and also our Chamber of Forest Engineers, of course, we concentrate on technical matters. And in the meantime, we also put our hearts in our neighbor countries. If we, of course, do not work with our heart, technical things will remain quite dry and will not be so sincere. So what is important is to put our heart in our work. The Turkish nation, Turkish people, from Chinese Wall to Europe, to Western Europe, Turkish people reigned in a wide geography for centuries. Inshallah, we don't want to see such a massacre taking place in Bosnia. The world is not as it used to be, and Turkey is not as it used to be. So, and the world order has changed. With Azer, we've been cooperating closely. During my efforts at an NGO and at the ministry, I had many missions to Bosnia. At every visit, I felt the sadness of people who have been hurt really severely. In the Balkans, Bosnia-Herzegovina is close to our hearts with its history and the accumulation of know-how, just like the way, Al-Quds, is close to Jerusalem, is close to our hearts. And we all have concerted our efforts to get united in good deeds. For instance, late President Alija Izetbegovic, before he passed away, he expressed a statement to our president like, the Bosnian people, I do leave the Bosnian people to your watch. So anytime we visit Bosnia, we always feel it. I hope that such a massacre will not take place anymore. And apart from the technical know-how, exchange of know-how and experiences, I'd like to reiterate that as your colleagues, we are always standing by you. Thank you for your presentation. We have one more presentation from Bosnia-Herzegovina. On behalf of the Labor Union of Paper Producers and Timber Producers, our colleague Emir will deliver a presentation. Of course, before coming here, from all corners of the Turkish world, Central Asia, from Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, many colleagues have come. We want you to get to know other guests from other countries. Ms. Özlem is in charge of our foreign guests. We are here to bring you together. Please feel free to communicate with them. If you have any communication barrier, please let us know. We would like to introduce you to them closer. Please, floor is yours.
You can use this one. Greetings. My name is Lizdo. I already presented myself. I am forestry engineer from Konjic in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And today I will talk about one very sensitive topic in Bosnia about forest fires. and the biodiversity after forest fires in the municipality of Konjic in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So first, it's really important to say that Konjic as municipality is the biggest municipality in Bosnia and Herzegovina by area. And it is located in Herzegovina-Neretva canton in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's about 60 kilometers southwest of Sarajevo, and about 65% of its total area is covered by forests, as you can see on this graphic. So forest fires have been really big and important subject in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and especially in Konjic in the last few years. In 2012, the area of municipality of Konjic was affected by strong forest fires. About 10% of our high productive forest area was affected by forest fire that year. Konjic lost a lot of its forest and biodiversity that year. So there was one study in 2014, and part of this study was ex-dean from our Faculty of Forestry, Mirza Daudbašić, and that study is about extinguishing. It has been put in the high danger forest fire zone in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That zone is now called Zone of Highland Herzegovina. So you will see on the map, that's this red part. So in this red part, there is really high danger of forest fires in our country. It should be borne in mind that most common cause of firing is anthropogenic factor with its intentional or unintentional activities. So here are some photos from Konjic. You will see on these photos how our field is extreme and how our forest fires are really dangerous. Even it's for Turkey, it's a small area, but for Bosnia, it's pretty big area caught by these forest fires. So here are the photos of forest fires near Boračko Lake. Total area affected by forest fire in Konjic region in 2012 was about 6,500 hectares. Area that was affected by forest fires in 2012, the most affected area is called Boraš and Sarakov Laz in Konjic. About 900 hectares of high productive forest was destroyed that year in Boraš Sarakov Laz. And the characteristic of this area are carbonate rocks and beech and fir forests, and also forests of black pine and Bosnian pine. Maybe in Latin, you will know it better, it's Pinus haldrechi. So in here you can see a few photos 9 years after this big forest fire, how it looks right now. It's necessary to professionally and selectively rehabilitate the burned areas, and it would be desirable to do so in the 10 years of time, from 2015 to 2025. It would be necessary to carry out sanitary felling as soon as possible, because in the field there is a valuable wood mass whose use can partially mitigate the consequences of damage and create realistic basis for reducing the cost of firefighting.
mücadele, orman yangınları mücadele için yangın yolları oluşturuyoruz ve bu maksatla ağaç kesimi yapılıyor, yollar açılıyor ve şu yöntemleri kullanıyoruz. Doğal olarak büyümeye imkan sağlıyoruz, dikim yapıyoruz, fidan dikimi yapıyoruz, suni dikim yapıyoruz ve kombine yöntemi kullanıyoruz. En çok hasar gören alan özellikle erozyona yatkın arazilerde eğim 25 derece altında ise bu bölgelerde suni bitki dikimi yapıyoruz. Böylelikle habitata ve habitat şartlarına en uygun bitki türlerini seçip dikiyoruz. Ağaç kitlesi tabii burada bir öncelik. Bunu korumaya çalışıyoruz. Yine yanmamış alanları da kurtarmaya çalışıyoruz, korumaya çalışıyoruz. Aynı zamanda gerçekten önemli olan bir şey var. Finansal stabil kaynakların tahsis edilmesi gerekiyor orman işçilerine. Özellikle saha hazırlaması ve ağaç kesimi işi yapan işçilere. Gelecek orman yönetimi planı hazırlarken tabii ki bu alanlardaki amenajmanın sürekliliğinin büyük bir ölçek gerektirmesi sebebiyle özellikle önceki orman amenajman planlarında ağaç stoğu artışları ve yangın hasarının getirdiği yıkım sebebiyle tabii ki kalitatif ve profesyonel olarak mevcut durumun değerlendirilmesi şarttır. Şimdi biz ne durumdayız? 10 yıl sonra bakın yanan alanımız bu. Bir yangından birkaç ay sonraki görüntüsü. Bakın. Yangın öncesi hali. Burada yine yangın öncesi ve sonrası fotosu. Bu çalışmada bu kapsamda bu alanda birçok çalışma yapıldı. Özellikle bütün yanan ağaç parçaları çıkartıldı. Fidanlar dikildi. Brosnica Rakov'da birçok tabii sorun da yaşandı. Daha önce söylediğim gibi birinci ve en önemli sorun finansman. Biyoçeşitliliği orman yangından sonra geri kazanmak istediğimizde Bosna'da finansal sorunlar yaşadık. Bir diğer sorun ise öncü türlerle ilgiliydi. Yangından sonra ortaya çıktılar ve bu türler daha önce yangından önce burada bulunan türlerin habitatlarına geri dönmesine müsaade etmediler. Yani tohum atarak bunların tohumunu atsak da fidanlarını diksek bile ağaçların geri dönmesine baskın tipler engelledi. Mesela Fagus sylvatica, Pinus nigra, Abies alba, Pinus heldreki bu alanda öncü türler olarak karşımıza çıktı ve Fraxinus excelsior bunlar yerel türlerdi. Şimdi saydıkları excelsior ve diğer orman meyveleri türleri, ahududu vesaire bunlar öncü türler olarak çıkmaya başladılar. Bakın yanan bölgenin, Konits'teki yanan bölgenin fotoğrafı. Nasıl ilerliyoruz şimdi? 10 sene sonra. Yangın yollarını oluşturmak çok önemli. Ormanları gelecekteki orman yangınlarına karşı korumak için. Orman yangınlarını koruma planı oluşturuldu ve özel yangın söndürme yani itfaiye ekibi oluşturuldu. İtfaiye teşkilatında orman teknisyeni, orman mühendisleri yine bu ekibin içerisinde yer alıyor ve eğitimlerini özel olarak veriyor. Bakın burada fidan dikimi yaptık. Burada bir yangın fotosu. Aynı zamanda bu vesileden yararlanarak Türkiye Orman Genel Müdürlüğü'ne teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Çünkü bize tüm bu ekipmanları tedarik ettiler. Orman işçileri sendikası kanalıyla gerçekten Sayın Azer'e ne kadar teşekkür etsek azdır. Birkaç dakika önce kendisi sizlerle beraberdi burada. Evet, sorunuz varsa 2 gün boyunca buradayım. Bana yöneltebilirsiniz sorularınızı. Evet, sunumumun sonuna gelmiş oldum. Teşekkür ederim. Bu kadar.
Sayın Emir Lizo'ya çok teşekkür ediyorum. Tabii gözler sağlam olunca elindeki telefonlar rahatlıkla okuyor. Bizim için biraz zor. Şimdi online bağlantınız var mı Ercan Bey hazır olan? Hangisi var? Peki. Onlara geçmeden önce o zaman önce bir Kırgızistan'dan misafirimiz burada. Aytkul Bey. Aytkul Bey'i dinleyelim. Arkasından online bağlantılarımız olacak. Saat 16 gibi bir ara vereceğiz. 16-16.30 arasında. Gelecek oturumda akademik sunumlarımız var. Onlara devam edeceğiz. O bölümde Aydın Hocam'dan yardım isteyeceğiz. Sayın Aydın Tüfekçioğlu buradasın değil mi? Bir telefona bakarsan Sayın Dekanım. Hoş geldiniz. Buyurun. You had the floor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Var tabii.
Саламатсыздар ба, hormatly бүгүнкү симпозиумдун катышчылары. Merhaba, büyük arkadaşlar. I am today will
Bugün ben size sunumumu İngilizce yapacağım. Kusura bakmayın. İlk kez sunumu yapıyor olacağım. Tercümanlar için biraz zor olabilir benim İngilizce konuşmam. Ben Kırgızistan'dan geliyorum. Kırgız Orman ve Arazi Kullanıcıları Derneği'nden geliyorum. Kırgızistan gerçekten son derece zengin. Biyoçeşitliliğe ve ormanlara sahip. Özellikle orman meyveleri açısından ormanlarımız çok zengin. Ceviz ağaçlarımız çok var. Gerçekten ceviz ormanlarımızı korumak gerçekten çok zor. Bugün özellikle yerel toplumu orman ekosistemini korumaya dahil etmek orman amenajmanı kapsamında önemli bir çaba gerektiriyor. Öncelikle size Kırgız Cumhuriyeti, yani ülkemle ilgili birkaç bilgi vermek istiyorum. Orta Asya'da bulunuyor Kırgız Cumhuriyeti. Toplam alanı neredeyse
mountain consists 93%. Capital is Bishkek. Population more than 6.6 million people. Languages is languages is Kyrgyz is state language, and Russian is official. About next slide, please. About my association, Kyrgyz Association for Forest and Land Users, is a non-profit organization established in 2010 on the invite of legal entities and public association based on common interest for the realization of common goals. Today we have 141 legal entities, which unit more than 8,000 farmers, forest users, and other land users. We have newspaper, Asılger Press, and trademark Silk Road Testy and the Silk Road Hopes, and some demonstration farm. If to say about partners, next slide, please. In this slide, you see our partners. Government partners is main partners is Ministry of Agriculture and State Agency Forestry, National Academy and National Statistic Committees and others. And on left, you see international organization, our partners, and the middle organization according to the memorandum of consortium. This one of the partners is OMO. We try to work together about question forestry. And I must to say, Kaflu is a member, international organization as IUCN, FSC, ICA Consortium, and other organization. Kyrgyz Republic belongs to specially forested areas. Only 6% of the total area of the country. Forests are mainly represented by mountain plantation and quite diverse and rich in valuable species. About 19% of the forests of Kyrgyz Republic are located at an altitude of 700 to 3,500 meters above sea level. And on this slide, you see our forest. Next slide, please. Despite the fact that the Kyrgyz Republic belongs to sparsely forest areas, over 1 million people live in or near the forest fund. Their well-being directly depends on forest resources. Forests are the main source of wood, food, and fuel, and etc. Hence, the importance of the forest of Kyrgyzstan for the public from a social and economic point of view. But in forest management, as harvesting and gathering on non-timber forest products and others, little attention is paid to the conservation of biodiversity. I said Kyrgyz forest is rich biodiversity, and for protected our forest. I think one of the mechanisms for the preservation of the forest ecosystem is the participant of local communities in the management of forest resources in the Kyrgyz Republic. Which realize and provide assistance. First, conservation of forest and biodiversity, and improving the image of forest sector of the Kyrgyz Republic, strengthening the possibility of entering the foreign market, active public participation in the forest management, and you see on the this site and other activities. For the experience in implementing public participation in forest management in Kızılıngur Lesvos. Main goal, promoting environmentally responsible, socially oriented, and economically sustainable forest management and forest resource management. In order to involve the local community in the preservation and restoration of degraded forest ecosystem, as well as to improve the socio-economic condition or improve the source of income of the local population in the that village. Kızılıngur Walnut Forest community forestry was introduced. Community-based forestry is the management of forestry by a local community living in or near a forest. Key partners is local forest community, is Kugoy Jamaat, and second partners is Kızılıngur Forestry, and the third Kızılıngur Ayılaymak is local government. For realize this project, we make some activities as first development and approval of the charter, registration with the authorized body of justice. Second, capacity building of community members for sustainable management and use of forest ecosystem. Carrying out forest management works for the successful work of the Kogoi community, and the development and approval of the Kogoi community management plan. And 5, community performance monitoring and evaluation. For the implementation this project, next slide please, we make develop charter and registration of the justice body. You see these materials, certificate and charter. And second, we make capacity building of community members for sustainable management and the use of forest ecosystem. And then the next slide. We make carrying out forest management works for the successful work of Kogoi community. We made maps for the territory Kogoi community for the we made forestry project for 10 years. And we develop community management plan for work this community. And approved by Director Kızılıngur Leshozes. This you see community management plan. And the end total results have to I said first the charter of the Jamaat was developed, received a certificate from Justice Department, and the forestry project has been developed for 10 years. Capacity building, the community and other beneficiaries increased. The community management plan was developed and approved. A partnership agreement has been signed with Lesbos and community, Kogoi, and currently monitoring is implemented. In conclusion, the forest resources of Kyrgyzstan have the potential to increase the contribution to development of the country's economy, including the improvement of the welfare of the local population and biodiversity. In this regard, we believe that the involvement of the local population in the sustainable management and the use of forest ecosystems through the introduction of community forest management is the main mechanism for preserving the biodiversity of forest ecosystem in Kyrgyzstan. I would like Rahmat, dikkatiniz için teşekkürler. Thank you for attention here. Sorry, make a presentation by on English first time. Next time I made next presentation on Turkish. Thank you.
Aytkul Bey'e çok teşekkür ediyorum. İnşallah bundan sonra...
Thank you so much. We hope to listen to your presentation in Turkish. You're from Kyrgyzstan. By the way, he dropped walnut and peanuts. Kyrgyzstan has so many natural walnuts. We know the taste. We didn't have the opportunity to taste it in its location. So we will simplify our program. So executive board member of our chamber wants to see all our friends, who contributed to this event. Şerif Altınsoy, Eda Günsal, Şevket Topçu. Could you please come to the stage? Please. Please kindly stand next to me. Müşaket Cemre Erol, Ercan Yardımcı, Özlem Pank, Nazan Akyüz. Oh, the more the merry, mashallah. Distinguished chair, there are so many contributors. Çiğdem Akkaya, Hatice Bezci, Bahri Kalkan, Ayşegül Muslu, İlknur Yılmaz, Ali İhsan Çakır. They made this event happen. Ercan Kaptanoğlu. He is also a senior expert specialized in ICT. We are hosting many NGOs here and contributed to a great extent to us. But for instance, Green Turkey for Foresters Association couldn't attend here, though they intended to come, extending their regards. And Mr. Turker is also here representing them. And he's our colleague, and in the meantime, working as a system specialist, ICT specialist in TRT, Turkish World Parliamentary Foundation. I'm also one of the founders of that NGO. I'm representing that one. So our chair, Mr. Abdullah, is relaying his regards to you. Distinguished chair, your team is here, and they're extending their greetings to you all. In your presence, I'd like to thank all young fellows who made this event happen. It really takes time to bring such an event together. Generally, in the forefront, our colleagues are visible. Mr. Chair, please, floor is yours. Distinguished participants, we have a very busy program. Thank you for your kind attention. There's always the front side of the screen and also the back side of the screen. The TV broadcasters know it. We have a 2-day-long program. And you see also our shortcomings. And if we have shortcomings, please excuse us for that. Not the executive board members, but these young fellows are contributing to the making of this event. In your presence, I'd like to thank you for your kind patience and for not seeing our flaws or shortcomings, and also thank them for they really put their heart in bringing this event together. I appreciate their efforts. Our executive board members, where are you? And of course, other executive board members are working in the back office and they're cooperating with the team. So they're doing best to create a good symposium, fruitful one. We have 35 officers working in the headquarters and in branches as much as possible. They're contributing. You know, I've been an administrator. So I can say that one personnel replaces maybe 70 people, you know, 70 in administration. In your presence, I would like to extend our thanks to our Secretary General and all other team members and everyone who put this event together. Thank you for your efforts. Our program goes on. I know it is quite intensive. We have been waiting for more than 2 years, right? We couldn't hold such meetings. Now that we are here, our Secretary General, Mr. Kurtulmuş, they're also patient enough. So we'll continue in this part before the break. We'll have online connection. First speaker from Albania, Mr. Mehmet Beter. Mr. Mehmet, floor is yours. As I mentioned in the morning, he had to return back from the airport. Return back from the airport.
Yes,
do you hear me?
Mehmet Bey sen bağladığında ben hazırım Ercan Bey.
Return back from the airport.
Yes, do you hear me?
Mehmet Bey sen bağladığında ben hazırım Ercan Bey. Ekrana yansıtabiliyor musunuz?
Return back from the airport.
Yes, do you hear me?
Mehmet Bey sen bağladığında ben hazırım. Yes, we can hear you. Ekrana yansıtabiliyor musunuz?
Do you hear me? Hello? You hear me? Hello? Do you hear me? Hello, everybody.
From Turkey.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me?
Beni duyuyor mu? Yes, we can from Turkey.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me?
Ercan Bey şöyle yapalım. Beni duyuyor mu? Yes, ayarlayalım bir başkasını alalım. Tekrar ona
Hello,
bir bakalım.
everybody. Do you hear me?
Ercan Bey şöyle yapalım. Beni duyuyor mu? Yes, ayarlayalım bir başkasını alalım. Tekrar ona
Hello,
bir bakalım.
everybody. Do you hear me?
I'd like
Ercan Bey şöyle yapalım. Beni duyuyor mu? Yes, ayarlayalım bir başkasını alalım. Tekrar ona
Hello,
bir bakalım.
everybody. Do you hear me?
difficult life.
Ercan Bey şöyle yapalım. Beni duyuyor mu? Yes, ayarlayalım bir başkasını alalım. Tekrar ona
Hello,
bir bakalım.
everybody. Do you hear me?
Difficult life.
Ercan Bey şöyle yapalım. Beni duyuyor mu? Yes, ayarlayalım bir başkasını alalım. Tekrar ona
Hello,
bir bakalım.
everybody. Do you hear me?
Difficult life.
Ercan Bey şöyle yapalım. Beni duyuyor mu? Yes, ayarlayalım bir başkasını alalım. Tekrar ona
Hello,
bir bakalım.
everybody. Do you hear me?
Tamam, dur.
Difficult
Bir
life.
nefes alın. Bunu iptal edelim, şeye başla. Diğerini alalım. Tekrar
Hello,
ona bir bakalım.
everybody.
Çıkaralım onu
Do you
oradan.
hear me?
Tamam, dur.
Difficult.
Başkanım o kendi sesi. Kendisini açamıyor. O bizden bizi duymuyor. Kendi şeyi. Orada görünen... o bizi duyamıyor. Bunu buradan çık, diğerlerini bağlayalım. Evet, Fatma Güngör var listemizde. Sayın Fatma Güngör, FAO'nun Ulusal Proje Koordinatörü.
Merhabalar. Bu ekran paylaşımını kaldırabilir miyiz?
Mrs. Fatma Güngör, National Project Coordinator from the FAO, Turkey. Ms. Fatma, we can see you. We can see you right now. Mrs. Fatma Güngör, National Project Coordinator from the FAO, Turkey. Ms. Fatma, we can see you. We can see you right now. Mrs. Fatma Güngör, National Project Coordinator from the FAO, Turkey. Ms. Fatma, we can see you. We can see you right now. From the FAO, Turkey. Ms. Fatma, we can see you. We can see you right now. From the FAO.
Merhabalar. Sanırım herkes beni duyabiliyordur şu anda diye düşünüyorum. Duyabiliyor musunuz acaba? Ercan Bey beni duyuyor mu acaba katılımcılar? Evet, değerli katılımcılar, sanırım beni duyuyorsunuz diye düşünüyorum. Benim ismim Fatma Güngör. Türkiye Tarım ve Orman Bakanlığı ve FAO tarafından yürütülmekte olan Sürdürülebilir Arazi Yönetimi ve İklim Dostu Tarım Projesi koordinatörüyüm. Size proje kapsamında biyoçeşitlilik anlamında yaptığımız çalışmalardan söz edeceğim. Bir küresel çevre fonu projesi. Projenin amacı tarım, mera ve orman arazilerinin sürdürülebilir yönetiminin güçlendirilmesi, biyoçeşitliliğin arazi kullanım planlarına entegrasyonu, iklim değişikliğiyle mücadele ve bu kapsamda düşük karbonlu teknolojilerin yaygınlaştırılması. Projenin 3 bileşeni var. Birinci bileşeni boşluklu kapalı degrede diyebiliriz. Degrede ormanların rehabilitasyonu, iklim dostu tarım uygulamaları ve üçüncü bileşende sürdürülebilir arazi yönetimi için kapasite geliştirme bileşeni diyebiliriz. Burada Türkiye'nin bir haritası var. Bu etrafı koyu mavi ile çevrilmiş alan projenin uygulama alanı. Proje uygulama alanı Türkiye'nin yarı kurak bir bölgesinde yer alıyor. Şimdi proje kapsamında yaptığımız biyoçeşitlilikle ilgili çalışmaları orman, yarı kurak orman alanları özelinde bahsedeceğim. Biyolojik çeşitlilik yönetim planı hazırlandı proje sahalarının. Entegre orman yönetimi planı yapıldı. Biyolojik çeşitlilik izleme kavramı geliştirildi. Ve aynı zamanda alanda bulunan yarı kurak ormanların Orman Yönetim Konseyi ile sertifikalandırılması yapıldı. FSC sertifikasyonu çalışması yapıldı. Biyolojik çeşitlilik yönetimi planından söz edeceğim. Aslında bu Türkiye için yenilikçi bir çalışma. Dünyada örnekleri var ama proje uygulama alanında bulunan bütün arazi kullanım tiplerini kapsıyor plan. Yani tarım, mera ve orman alanları, sulak alanlar, statülü alanlar hepsini kapsıyor. Dolayısıyla türlerin öncelikle bir biyoçeşitlilik envanteri yapıldı proje alanlarında. Dolayısıyla türlerin endemizm durumu, dar yayılışlı olmaları, küresel ve bölgesel hassasiyetleri değerlendirilerek koruma öncelikli türler ve koruma öncelikli habitatlar belirlendi bu çalışma kapsamında. Daha sonra önemli tür ve habitatların bulunduğu ve doğa koruma ve sürdürülebilir kaynak yönetimi açısından öncelikli alanlarda hassas alanlar olarak belirlendi. Koruma öncelikli türler ve habitatlar da alan kullanımları dikkate alınarak, yani o alan bozkır ya da tarım alanı, orman ya da meraysa göz önüne alınarak her hassas alan için öneriler hazırlandı. Tabii planın sonunda bir stratejik hedefler ve faaliyetlerin yer aldığı bir bölüm var. Ve burada da aynı zamanda izleme ve araştırma programlarına yönelik yöntem ve önerilere de yer verildi. Şimdi biyolojik çeşitlilik yönetim planında proje uygulama alanı için belirlenmiş hassas alanlar yer alıyor. Toplam 19 tane hassas alan belirlendi. Bu hassas alanlardan 2 tanesi direkt olarak yarı kurak orman alanlarıyla ilgili. Burası için tanımlanan stratejik hedef planda ormanların sürdürülebilir yönetiminin sağlanması. Şimdi tespit edilen 2 hassas alandan bir tanesi kuraklığa dayanıklı Karaçam ormanları var. Proje uygulama alanlarından bir tanesinde ve kuraklığa direnç açısından önemli bir gen kaynağı olduğu için burası bir hassas alan olarak belirlendi. Aynı zamanda burada yaşayan öncelikli türlerden bir kelebek türü var. İkinci hassas alan ise yine bu alanda relikt, kalıntı meşe ormanları var. Dolayısıyla birçok meşe türünü barındırıyor. Bu alanda yine biyoçeşitlilik yönetim planında hassas alan olarak belirlendi ve şimdi anlatacağım entegre orman yönetimi planında da, amenajman planında da bu hassas alanlar entegre edildi. Şimdi bu alandan bu projenin uygulandığı ormanları da içeren bir alandan bir harita. Toplam 19 hassas alandan aslında 13 tane hassas alan bu bölgede bulunuyor. Şimdi diğer bir çalışmada proje kapsamında entegre orman yönetim planı hazırlandı. Proje uygulama alanlarından bir tanesi için. Bu entegre orman yönetim planı 6 alt plandan oluşuyor. Bu planlar orman amenajman planı, odun dışı orman ürünleri alt planı, otlatma ve mera yönetimi alt planı, arıcılık alt planı, sosyoekonomik alt plan ve biyolojik çeşitliliği koruma alt planıdır. Dolayısıyla bu entegre orman yönetim planında biyolojik çeşitlilik tam olarak plana entegre edilmiş oldu. Ekosistem tabanlı fonksiyonel bir orman amenajman planı hazırlandı. Orman fonksiyonlarına ayrıldı. Her bir fonksiyon ve amaç ilişkisine göre de planlama birimi gereken sayıda işletme sınıflarına ayrıldı. İkinci alt plansa odun dışı orman ürünleri alt planı. Burada da bir envanter yapıldı ve özellikle kenger, hundelya ve trüf mantarı bu envanterler sonucu belirlendi ve bunların bulunduğu meşcereler belirlendi. Ve bir hasat eylem planı yapıldı bu türler için. Bu türlere ait bir görüntü koydum sizler için. Şimdi üçüncü alt plansa otlatma ve mera yönetimi alt planı. Burada da merada işte serbest otlatma yapılacak bölgeler, öncelikli ve yasak otlatma alanları belirlendi. Tabii burada hayvanların işte türü, otlatma kapasite, hepsi zamanlama dikkate alındı. Bu planda da otlatma mevsiminin kısaltılması ve katı bir kontrol mekanizmasına tabi olarak rotasyonlu otlatma önerildi. Arıcılık alt planı ise arıcılığı desteklemek için nektar ve polen üreten bitkilerle ağaçlandırma, rehabilitasyon ve erozyon kontrol faaliyetleri önerildi bu alt planda. Tabii proje aynı zamanda bir iklim değişikliği projesi, ciddi karbondioksit azaltım hedefleri var. O nedenle bütün faaliyetlerde bunu gözetiyoruz. Dolayısıyla burada da bal ormanlarının iklim değişikliği etkilerini en aza indirmek için 1000 metre yükseklik üzerindeki alanlarda belirlenmesi öneriliyor bu planda. Ve 5. planda sosyoekonomik alt plan. Bu da sosyoekonomik verileri içeriyor alana dair. Şimdi biyoçeşitlilik alt planı, 6. plan biyoçeşitlilik alt planı. Dolayısıyla biraz önce anlattığım biyoçeşitlilik yönetim planı yapılırken zaten bütün arazi kullanım tipleri için çok kapsamlı bir envanter yapılıp hedef türler ve habitatlar belirlenmişti ve size anlattığım, daha önce ifade ettiğim gibi 2 hassas alan zaten orman, yarı kurak orman alanı içerisinde belirlenmişti. Dolayısıyla biyolojik çeşitlilik açısından ve bu hedef türler, önemli habitatlar açısından meşçireler zonlama yaklaşımıyla sınıflandırıldı. Yüksek derecede tehdit altındaki türlerin korunması için 1. uygulama zonu var. Sınırlandırılmış ormancılık müdahalelerini içeren bir 2. uygulama zonu belirlendi. Ve bir de korunan alanları, nehir kenarı tampon alanları, kalıntı meşe meşçeleri ve bozuk ardıç meşçerelerini birbirine bağlayan bir koridor zonu belirlendi. Ve bu 3 zon dışında da yüksek koruma kategorisine sahip biyolojik çeşitliliğe duyarlı alanlar belirlenmiş. Ve bu alanlar içinde aslında korumak için, katı bir koruma için çitler de önerildi bu planda. Şimdi bu çalışmalar biyoçeşitlilik yönetim planı, biyoçeşitliliğin tam anlamıyla entegre olduğu Ereğli Orman Yönetim Planı hazırlandıktan sonra tabii bir biyoçeşitlilik izleme kavramı geliştirildi projede. Biyoçeşitlilik izleme çalışmaları da bu biyoçeşitlilik yönetim planında yer alan tür ve ekosistemleri dikkate alarak ve OECD Ekonomik Kalkınma ve İşbirliği Örgütü OECD tarafından geliştirilen baskı, durum, tepki çerçevesi dikkate alınarak bir izleme planı hazırlandı. Baskı bileşeninde ekosistem ve türlere yönelik ana tehditleri tanımlayan izleme göstergeleri var. Durum bileşeni kapsamında yine türler ve ekosistemlerin durumunu gösteren indikatörler belirlendi. Tepki bileşeninde ise yapılan koruma faaliyetleri, uygulamaların etkinliği, koruma projelerinin uygulanmasını tanımlayan izleme göstergeleri belirlendi. Daha sonra izlemeye konu olacak türler, nesli tehlike altında olma, endemizm durumu, dar yayılışlı olma gibi durumları değerlendirilerek belirlendi. Habitat düzeyinde de biyolojik çeşitlilik açısından önemli, zengin özellikli bitki ve hayvan alanları belirlendi ve izleme programına dahil edildi. Aynı zamanda bu program kapsamında veri toplama, depolama dahil olmak üzere hedef türler için izleme metodolojilerini ve veri analizini de içeren bir rehber hazırlandı. Şimdi proje kapsamında biyoçeşitlilikle, orman biyoçeşitliliğiyle ilişkili olarak yapılan diğer önemli bir çalışmada yarı kurak, düşük verimli ormanların FSC ile Orman Yönetim Konseyi sertifikası ile sertifikalandırılması çalışması. Aslında Orman Genel Müdürlüğümüz bu konuda çok deneyimli. Fakat hep verimli ormanların sertifikasyonunda çalışmalar yapıldı bugüne kadar Türkiye'de. Bu da bu proje kapsamındaki yenilikçi bir yaklaşım oldu. Orman Genel Müdürlüğü ile birlikte proje kapsamında bu yarı kurak orman alanlarının sertifikasyonu yapıldı. 280 bin hektar üzerinde orman alanı sertifikalandırıldı. Bu sertifikasyon sisteminde 10 adet prensip yer almakta. Özellikle prensip 6 ve prensip 9 doğrudan biyolojik çeşitliliğin korunması ve sürdürülebilir kullanımıyla ilgili. Prensip 7 de orman amenajman planlarında biyolojik çeşitliliğin entegre edilmesi. 8. prensipte ormancılık uygulamalarının etkilerinin izlenerek yönetimsel kararlara dönüştürülmesiyle ilgili. Doğal olarak bizim proje kapsamında yapmış olduğumuz biyoçeşitlilik yönetim planı, entegre orman yönetim planı ve izleme, biyoçeşitlilik izleme kavramı doğrudan bu çalışmayla ilgili olduğu için proje kapsamında bu çalışmaya da bu ormanları da sertifikalandırılmış olduk. Dolayısıyla bu alanların da izlenmesi biyoçeşitlilik izleme programındaki tepki bileşeni altında
These forests have been certified duly. So, monitoring this area
bu alanların değerlendirilmesi
kind of was placed under the
tarafından yapılacak. Bir orman mühendisi, bir ekolog tarafından yapılacak. İlgili paydaşlarla görüşmeler ve uygulamalar yerinde izlenecek ve her yıl yapılacak. Dolayısıyla bu değerlendirme sürecinde hem Orman İşletme Müdürlüğü ve şeflikler tarafından hazırlanan raporlar hem de bağımsız deneticiler tarafından hazırlanan raporlar değerlendirilerek aktivitelerin uygulanma başarısı da belirlenecektir. Benim sunumum bu kadar. Dinlediğiniz için çok teşekkür ederim. Aslında bu büyük bir proje. Tarım bileşeni ve kapasite bileşeni altında da biyolojik çeşitlilikle ilgili yaptığımız birçok çalışma var. Ancak sempozyumun tematik alanı gereği orman ekosistemleri özelinde yaptığımız çalışmaları sundum. Çok teşekkür ederim dinlediğiniz için. Beni duyabildiniz mi Ercan Bey? Hiç emin değilim ama sunumu tamamladım.
Biz, evet. Özbekistan'a bağlayalım Ercan Bey. Biz, evet. Özbekistan'a bağlayalım Ercan Bey. Biz,
Uzbekistan, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
böyle sesin gelmezse güzel oluyormuş. Yankı güzel oluyor. Özbekistan'a bağlayalım Ercan Bey. Biz,
Uzbekistan, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
böyle sesin gelmezse güzel oluyormuş. Yankı güzel oluyor. Özbekistan'a bağlayalım Ercan Bey. Biz,
Hello, can you hear me? Can I start? Okay, thank you. Dear participants of the symposium, dear distinguished guests, today I would like to present the activities of the FAO project related to sustainable forest management, as well as national policies implemented in order to sustain the forestry sector in Uzbekistan. So first of all, I would like to thank the technical project coordinator of the Sustainable Forest Management project in Uzbekistan, Olimjon Kakharov, for provided materials and information. To provide the brief information on the project works on the territory of State Forest Fund in 4 districts of different areas of Uzbekistan. Project objective is elaboration of the Sustainable Forest Management Plan. And the project has 4 major components. Component 1 is about the development of the information management systems for sustainable forest management. And basically they work with the GIS tools to make good advanced models to prepare good methodology for inventory of the forestries using the satellite images and the digital images. Component 2 is about multifunctional forest management, and under this component, the project is supposed to develop forest management plans. Component 3 is about scaling up, outscaling of the sustainable forest management practices, focusing on carbon sequestration. And component 4 is responsible for monitoring, knowledge sharing, and evaluation. Project achievements up to date include, for last 3 years, more than 1,700 residents have been directly involved in sustainable forest management practices because they received for the long-term lease the state forestry fund lands, and now are able to start growing agricultural crops, establishing plantation of pistachio, medicinal plants, and more than 30% of the rural residents represent women. Gender mainstreaming is the core in this component. As part of climate smart management and mitigation to climate change impact, more than 3.2 thousand hectares of new forest plantations have been established, and these include fuel wood and nuciferous crops, and more than 36,000 hectares of pastures have been tackled by the project interventions. Within the framework of GEF strategy on conservation and expansion of carbon stocks, the project managed to promote expansion and jointly with the Uzbek government, annual planting of forests from 42,000 hectares reached up to 1,570,000 hectares in 2 years, in 19 and 2020. At the same time, carbon sequestration stock reached approximately 7,500 tons annually. Institutional arrangements implemented under the project include different government resolutions that allow significantly improved development of forest industry. For example, these include presidential proposal on transfer of forest lands for a period up to 50 years for the land lease for the forestry land areas. And this decree, presidential decree, allowed to develop more than 10,000 hectares of forest fund lands, and to create favorable conditions for 5,000 rural residents. On these areas, residents create new forests and plantations of fuel wood, medicinal plants, and nuciferous plants. Second is the concept of development of the forestry industry until 2030. It contains proposals to provide various incentives from the state and to create new forest plantations of nuciferous crops in mountainous zone, and decrease in payment for land lease and payment for the education of the children of foresters. The third one, new gender strategy approved by the State Forestry Committee, created a platform for developing gender equality in the forestry sector. In 4 pilot sites, the number of women has exceeded 30% and reached 536 people. As an example of the component 1 interventions, there is a mapping of the Dehkanabad Forestry in Kashkadarya region of Uzbekistan. And results provide analysis of project interpretation of the satellite images using Collect Earth software. Concepts and strategies developed within the Sustainable Forest Management Project included a decree on the transfer of forest fund lands for long-term lease up to 50 years, the concept for development of the forestry system until 2030, concept of development of afforestation and reforestation, concept for development of nurseries in Uzbekistan, involving Mr. Ahmet Yalvaç from Turkey, pasture development strategy in Uzbekistan, conceptual proposal for development of non-timber forest resources, and the gender strategy developed for the Forestry Committee and gender action plan. Now I switch to the national policies on the sustainable forest management and combating and activities to combat desertification in Uzbekistan, and the materials used from Mr. Novitsky, Bakirov, and Hamzaev. So here you can see the area of the former Aral Sea, and the next picture shows the tragedy, the like diminished area of the Aral Sea, and the newly established Aralkum Desert. So on this Aralkum Desert, environmental strategy for Aral Sea zone has been developed to fight against erosion of the deflationary process of dust from the Aral seabed, drained Aral seabed. So on the next picture, you can see the salt storms, consequences of salt storms recorded in 2018. And the same picture indicates the consequences of salt storms and bushes covered with salt. The next salt and sandstorm has been recorded in spring 2019 as well. So under leadership of the President of Uzbekistan, the program on development and afforestation of Aral seabed has been started in 2018. And two state agencies, State Forestry Committee and State Ministry for Emergency Circumstances, have been involved in afforestation program and activities. This picture indicates raw planting of Haloxin seedlings on sandy soils, and planting took place in 2019. So for planting, both mechanical and aero planting has been, aero sowing have been applied. So for the on the next slide, you can see planting seedlings of Haloxin in 2019, and snow accumulation furrows have been also used for water and snow harvesting to let the seedlings grow well and to provide them by sufficient water. So seed sowing results recorded in 2020 indicate the next slide. So several nurseries have been also established and developed in parallel to the sowing and afforestation activities. So next, Teresken nursery in Karauzak Forestry in Karakalpakstan. So this slide shows Haloxin seedlings in plastic containers. This slide shows aerosowing, results of aerosowing of Haloxin seeds on sandy soils on the drained bottom of Aral Sea. So here aerosowing, and next slide shows raw landing of tamarix and row planting of tamarisk on St. Faros in spring 2020. And the mixture of seeds of the rangeland crops have been also applied, including Haloxin, Halostachys, and Climacopters on salted soils. Sowing took place in 2020. So this slide shows the results of afforestation and the forest plantations created for 2 years in 2018-19 reached 461,000 hectares, while planting activities in 1920 increased up to 706,000 hectares. And also monitoring of the sowing and planting activities took place in 2020, twice in 2020, and they show a good results, and the germination rates reached from 20 to 60%, depending on the crop variety and the method of planting. So the next slide indicates the area of interventions, the dried seabed of Aral Sea. And this is the final slide. Thank you for your attention.
Bu gördüğümüz Mehmet Bey'in ekranı herhalde. Ercan. Becinin. Şimdi Ercan Kaptanoğlu Türkiye'deki en iyi bilişimcilerimizden. Deneyelim. Arayalım. Deneyelim. Arayalım. Dur. Deneyelim. Arayalım. Dur. Deneyelim. Anlaşıldı. Peki bir bağlantı.
Hello. Okay. Hello, all of you. I would like first to thank Ismail Bey and Turkish Association of Foresters for organizing this very interesting symposium on forest and biodiversity. I'm sorry that I was not able to participate directly there, but to make a short presentation remotely. First of all, I would like to make a very brief presentation since I could not prepare a PowerPoint presentation about the Albanian forest resources and biodiversity challenges. As you may know, the Albania is a small country. The Albanian forest resources are about 1.5 million hectares. And as a coverage of the countries, they cover about 62% of the country territory with a standing volume of 84 million cubic meters. You hear me? Do you hear me? To continue?
Yes, please. We hear you.
Okay, thanks. According to the management regime of Albania, it is for our forest. Okay, continue.
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, thanks. According to the management plans and management regime, our forests are composed of high forest 460, 950 hectare or 46%, out of which conifers are 161 and 580 hectares and